are not gonna believe what almost just happened to me.
The smell, it's gonna...
Sorry, you babbling idiots. Can we talk about my bowels?
Not a real people person, are you, Dr. Pincus?
What you are is a little bit of a jerk.
I was dead for 7 minutes. And then when they brought me back, I can... Oh.
Gotta tell you, nobody was more excited than Naked Guy.
This is Gia. Look at her. Right, okay, Gia. We've got to do this. We've got to answer a few questions about the film, okay? If you know the answers, just put your hand up. It's actually a boxer dog. I'm huge.
So anyway, the very first scene just takes your breath away.
I play a dentist called Bertram Pincus, who is very misanthropic, and he doesn't like people much, and he thinks they're idiots. And he's a loner, and he sort of prefers it that way.
Stop global warming?
So, for most of the film, he's a grumpy, wise, cracking swine, I think, is the best to describe him. He needs a hug, but he doesn't get one. Does he?
Cut! Got it. I was finishing shooting on the last movie I did as a director, and there's a lot of people around when you're directing. You know, usually when you're writing, you're in a room by yourself, and I kind of like the quiet and stuff. And so there's just so many people all the time, and I went for a walk to get away from people, and I saw there's this wooden tooth hanging out on the street for a dental office down in the village, and I thought, now that seems like a great profession because you can just shove cotton in people's mouths when you want to shut them up. It was a bad day. I'm not usually like that. And so I just started thinking about this character of a dentist who likes his profession because he hates people and they can't talk to him while he's working.
No talking.
And then my writing partner, John Campbell, and I thought, what's the worst thing that can happen to a misanthrope who's a loner? And that would be if tons of people suddenly had access to him anytime they wanted.
Oh, especially at work.
Is this a bad time?
He told me the idea, and then we kind of dropped it for a few months, and then we were batting around ideas again, and I said, what about Ghost Town? That was a fantastic idea. So we started to hash out the story.
Gross invasion of my privacy, this.
Wait till they get you in the back.
I go in for an embarrassing operation and I die for a few minutes, and when I come back I can see dead people, and they annoy me too. Dead or alive. He just hates people.
You're the guy, huh?
No, I'm not the guy. It's another guy. Go away.
Real quick, gotta hit you up for a favor.
There's lots of ghosts, but I'm concerned with Frank. He comes to me and he wants me to break up his widow's new relationship.
She's getting married in a couple of months to a real scumbag lawyer, a bad, bad guy. Somebody's gotta stop this.
The thing about ghost stories that makes for good genre movies is that it's just rich with dramatic potential or comedic potential. And what we figured was broad premise, subtle execution. So we figured that our very broad premise allowed us to tell what was really just a very simple little three-character love story.
I've been thinking about your decaying jawbone. How do the ladies resist that rap ears?
As a screenwriter, David has an incredible range. He goes from Carlitos Way to Jurassic Park to Spider-Man to Mission Impossible to Indiana Jones.
There's very few people that have the kind of range he has. And, you know, if you look at the 3 prior movies that he's directed, they're all a little bit more thrillery kinds of things. And so doing a movie like this that really is a comedy and a romantic comedy at that, I think is going to show a whole other side to his ability.
That's the director there.
The trick is to try and go on 2 wheels.
Oh, go on. Oh, this is ending tears.
No.
If he was to hurt himself, someone would have to step in. Oh, my God. It was unbelievable. He was the same on the pogo stick yesterday. He hit his head about 30 times. He couldn't stop.
This one, from the beginning, I did want to direct because my favorite things about directing are working with the actors and shaping and reshaping the material. And I was looking forward to a chance to tell a story very simply with the camera as opposed to some of the thrillers that I'd done in the past, which is much more elaborately planned in terms of the camera. And this one, I like the idea of just being able to sort of sit back and try not to get in the actor's way.
Hey, can you hold the elevator, please?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Wait, oh, hey.
Pincus is clearly the lead, so whoever you cast as the lead is going to have a ripple effect on the other cast members, so it just makes sense to start there. And Ricky was the first piece of casting.
My audition with David Koepp, you know, he invited me round to his office, which turned out to be his flat, and he said, I'm just getting changed for squash. And he stripped off, and he said, what do you think? I went, good. He said, have you ever seen a naked director before? I went, no. He went, I look good for my age though, don't I? I went, how old are you? He said, I'm nearly 60. And I said, yes, you do. Can we get back to the film? And he went, you've got the part. None of that is true. There's more nuance than...
Well, if I didn't want his input, it would have been a real challenge, but I did. So he had a lot to say about character, and he also had a lot to contribute in terms of funny lines.
Yeah, it's my yacht, yeah.
What happens is I found that the first 5 or 6 takes, he'll try a little something out, and I'll say, okay, keep that, maybe put it with that other bit, and this thing then gets created so that by the end, you get this lengthy and bizarre and extremely funny little monologue, which all came together on the day.
Your girlfriend? I thought you said you were married.
Did I say I was a perfect person? Come on, let's hail a cab. She's hot.
Greg's got a difficult role, which is the lovable creep. I mean, he's really amoral, and what makes him fun, I think, is that he's completely unapologetic about his bad behavior.
What do you care? You were having an affair.
Never been married, right?
And I think that makes it really interesting. I think that also his role is doubly hard, and he, I think, realized this after he said yes, he'd do it. No props. The whole movie, you can't touch things. You can't touch people, you can't touch things, which was part of the origin of the BlackBerry joke, was to give him something, you know, that he could grab from time to time.
You can take your BlackBerry with you?
I guess.
What, have you got a signal?
Well, not yet, but I keep trying.
Working with a writer-director is always great. It's a springboard. It's somebody who you can use. They particularly David Koepp has a wonderful, I think, ear for language, and he's been great on this show.
Okay, I want to hear what she's got to say.
Really?
Yes.
That he was embalmed by royal mummifiers as opposed to curbside marketplace perverts. Preserve us. It's awkward.
I was kind of thinking of Taya's character as Cary Grant's character in Bringing Up Baby, you know, the absent-minded paleontologist. I like academics because they often get lost in their head, and that makes for an interesting character. You know, somebody who you can see that their mind is going behind their eyes and it's doing something else, and it's not completely focused on what they're doing at the moment. And I think that she has a lot of little stumbles and screw-ups because that's attractive, you know, and it's just part of who she is.
Or I know, have you ever been to that new...